Hey, this is Hussein Abbas. I commonly go as Hussein Web online, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. A couple of weeks back, I talked about GitHub Superlinter and set it up on a repository with Terraform and Ansible code. You can find that video in my channel or a link right up above. Today, let's do something similar for a PHP repository. GitHub Superlinter now supports PHP, but we'll use another approach today which will probably help you for local development as well. In my opinion, linting and style checks are quick wins and you should not think too much about them. Just set it up and let it do its thing. I know everyone has preferences for their own coding style, but whatever styles you're planning to use, style checks make it consistent for you and for your team. So just don't think too much about it and use a tool to make it consistent. This is the repository we'll be using today, and it's a very simple Composer plugin which we use at work to Dockerize database images for Drupal. We use this mainly for helping teams together in local development or even for testing, even when we want to load a database in CI environment without creating test data through scripts. It's a really simple approach and it's looking promising, but we'll not go too deep into what this plugin does. It's a very simple plugin. It's basically a wrapper on Git and Docker, and testing it is really hard. But let's try to add whatever tests we can. Even small wins are good for us right now. So we are going to add phpcs, which is basically a style checker. We'll follow PSR 12 coding standard over here because it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter what coding standard you follow. Just pick one. So we're going to pick PSR 12 for this, and we'll lint with PHP lint, which is now we can lint with directly with PHP, but PHP lint makes linting process somewhat easier. So you can see that we already have phpcs configured using composer.json, and we have configured scripts. You can run phpcs directly by running composer phpcs, and this is really helpful. If I wanted to do a quick check, I just do composer phpcs, which runs this command, and if anything fails, it tells me right now. So let's add another linting command over here. The linter we're going to use is called phplint, and I'm just going to require it with this statement. You can read more about the linter over here, and it's a very simple linter. It tries to make it run in parallel. It does a good job, and even though like there are just like 3 files over here, it's okay. I would rather use this plugin rather than write a for loop to run through different PHP files. We have added our PHP lint package to the required dev section, which means that now I can do something like vendor bin PHP lint and pass the I like to specify no cache for PHP lint and pass the directory, and it says that okay, yeah, all the files look good, which is great, which is what we want. So now we want to make it simpler. We're going to put it in our composer.json. So I'm going to create a new script command, and we don't need to use that vendor/bin and anything like that. PHP lint is enough. So PHP lint, again, no cache option, and the directory. Later on, if I have another directory like I'll have for tests, I can just add that directory over here, but for now this is enough. So let's try that out. Composer lint does the job. It tells me the exact same thing. If I break any file, composer lint will tell it to me right away. So we have this set up. We're just going to add the changes we have made in composer.json. Let's make sure that we are just adding what we want. Here the required dev line and the scripts line. So we are going to commit this change and push it. So great. Now the rest of the team can start using it. They can start running. They just have to run composer lint and they would have this. But what if we want to make sure that we run this with every commit? And that's where GitHub Actions come in. And let's set this up very quickly. It hardly takes any time. To set up a new action, you go to your repository page, click on Actions. And if you don't have any action, you get this page saying get started with GitHub Actions. So you're going to say, since this repository is mainly PHP, it has suggested that, okay, you can use this PHP workflow It also gives a Laravel option. This is not a Laravel project, so I'm just going to set up a PHP workflow over here. Now it's already given me a template, and most of it looks good. I don't need to change most of it. This is fine. PHP Composer. Let's make it a little bit more clear, saying that it's PHP linting and CS code style checks, and even this file name, I'll just call it PHP lint so that it's a little clearer. Checkout is great. Yeah, of course, checkout is required. Actually, Composer validate is great. And there is a bonus over here. It also caches Composer packages, which means our actions will run faster. That's great. Install dependencies. Again, it conditionally runs Composer install. That's great again. And it gives a helpful comment that, okay, add a test script to composer.json. There is a link to documentation. We already have added that, so I can remove this comment. And I'm going to uncomment this line, run test suite. So I'm going to run two different commands. So first is run lint, and the command is composer lint. You can also do composer run script lint, but composer lint is also fine. And I will also run phpcs as a separate task. I could have done it in the same one, but it's fine. So composer lint and composer phpcs. So let's start this commit. Let's give it a meaningful name. Add PHP lint and CS workflow. And I'm going to create a new branch. So we'll see this in a merge request. Okay, so add PHP lint and CS workflow. CS is code style workflow. So let's create a pull request. And yeah, we have that. Now, since we have added an action, we should be seeing our checks coming up. Okay, so yeah, the check has come up, and this should not take very long. Let's see. Setting up job. Maybe it's the first time it runs, so it could be slower, but let's see. So it's validating Composer JSON and everything. So technically speaking, Composer validate didn't do much. It would just validate the raw structure of JSON, which is still helpful. I mean, let's have it. There's no reason not to have it. Even though we don't have a log file, it's okay. Okay, Composer install is running. This takes some time. Okay, now we have Composer lint running and phpcs. Everything looks good, and our merge request is all successful. So let's go ahead and merge our pull request, and that's it. Now we have lint and CS workflow running with every commit on this repository. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please do let me know in comments what are the kinds of videos you would like to see, and if this video helped you or not, and do subscribe to the channel. Have a good day. Bye bye.